Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation. My name is Fletcher and Xbox have just dropped a massive sale onto the store today. This week's deals are insane, with a big emphasis on horror titles alongside some incredible AAA and AA titles that are now at their lowest prices ever. Before we dive in though, don't forget to enter our weekly Xbox game giveaway. Congratulations to last week's winner, I completely agree with you. The Series S gets so much bad press, but it's a fantastic bit of tech, especially for that price point. Be sure to hit me up on our awesome Discord server with the link below to claim your prize. This week, the developers who created the strategy hit Songs of Silence have reached out and will be providing a couple of codes for this week's giveaway, as their game is on sale for this week. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below to enter the giveaway, and let's dive right into the games. First up, we have a grim and unforgiving action RPG. Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition throws you into a decaying world where only the strongest survive. You inhabit shells of fallen warriors, each with their own stats and abilities, really creating a unique twist on the Souls-like formula. Combat here is deliberately paced and requires strategic thinking, rewarding your patience and precision over brute force. This next-gen version though brings improved visuals and faster loading times, really enhancing the game's already chilling atmosphere. Lore is really hidden throughout this entire world in cryptic bits of dialogue and environmental storytelling. Boss encounters as well are very challenging but incredibly cinematic, making victory feel genuinely earned. At 90% off this week, bringing the price down to just £2.49, this is a phenomenal deal for anyone craving a dark and challenging experience. Welcome to Oakmont, a city slowly being consumed by the sea and madness. The Sinking City is a detective horror game inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft, where you must uncover the truth behind supernatural forces tearing the city apart. As Charles Reed though, you'll be encountering bizarre visions, navigating a semi-open world by foot and boat, and use your wits to unravel some disturbing cases. Of course, this deluxe edition does add a couple of story missions, some extra gear, and deepening the already layered narrative. The Series X and S upgrade also brings some sharper textures and improved stability, really elevating immersion as you descend into the unknown. The game really does feature a very unique investigation system though, that actually avoids some pretty good handholding, making each mystery feel like a true piece of detective work. At 85% off and now down just at £8.69, it's a fantastic price for an investigation journey into cosmic horror. Now, a game that I wanted to personally highlight this week is for Songs of Silence. As I mentioned, they are doing a giveaway for their game as it's on sale for this week. If you're unaware, this is a fantasy strategy title which marries deep tactical gameplay with very fast-paced auto battles and an engaging, compelling narrative. It actually launched onto Xbox and other platforms late last year and has been a massive hit due to its stunning visuals and an incredible gameplay loop. As you can see, it has a very unique graphical style, and Songs of Silence really is a beautiful example of the evolution of this classic genre. The game does feature an extensive single-player, narrative-driven campaign, plus multiple competitive and cooperative multiplayer modes for endless replay value. Again, this one is currently 35% off this week until the 7th of April, and I highly recommend you check it out right now, and with the link in the comments below. If you're like me and missed the frenetic energy of Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood is the spiritual successor you've all been waiting for. It's now 90% off this week and down to just under £10. This is a massive deal for an endlessly replayable co-op shooter. This one is actually developed by the original creators. It's a co-op shooter that pits you and your squad against waves of grotesque mutated enemies called the Ridden. The Ultimate Edition though unlocks every piece of premium content, including all the expansions, extra characters, weapon skins, and so much more, giving you hours upon hours of added value. This game though took a card-based perk system which actually lets you modify gameplay and build out unique strategies for every single mission. There were frequent content drops and seasonal events that really do keep the community active to this day and the experience fresh for all newcomers. It also features a roguelike inspired progression system that keeps each playthrough feeling incredibly different. This one was highly underrated at launch and I recommend you dive into it this week. You can step into the world of retro horror with DAYMARE 1998, a game that wears its survival horror roots very proudly. This one is inspired by the golden age of this genre. It features classic elements like fixed inventory management, eerie atmosphere, and limited ammo, all wrapped up in a very gritty modern presentation. Of course, you'll be experiencing the story through the eyes of multiple characters, offering fresh perspectives as the outbreak spreads and the conspiracy deepens. Its intentionally stiff controls and design quirks really emulate that feel of early Resident Evil titles, but with a fresh coat of polish. The soundtrack and the sound design really heighten the overall tension, pulling you into its relentless atmosphere. It's now just under £5 this week, an incredible 85% off, and it's perfect for fans hungry for a nostalgic B-movie style horror experience. Strange Brigade is what happens when you mix pulpy adventure, cooperative action, and supernatural chaos into one slick package. This one actually comes from the team at Rebellion. Yes, the same team that just released Atomfall and also the big hit of the Sniper Elite series. This one though is set in an alternate history 1930s and is a co-op shooter that sends you through tombs and temples to battle ancient mythological threats. The deluxe edition here though bundles in all of the DLC, including the new maps, characters, and also a horde mode for the added challenge. Whether you're setting off traps, solving puzzles, or laughing at the narrator's cheeky commentary, there's never a dull moment in this experience. Each character offers different weapons and powers, encouraging varied team tactics and replayability. This combination though of light-hearted tone, satisfying combat, and clever level design makes it such an easy game to just jump into with your friends. At 90% off and its biggest discount ever, it's the perfect time to uncover the treasure and mayhem that Strange Brigade really offers. It's such an underrated hidden gem on the Xbox library, and I highly recommend that you pick it up this week. Before we dive into the remaining games, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as over 76% of you are not subscribed, and it would be great to see you join the fastest growing dedicated Xbox channel here on YouTube. I do cover Xbox news, reviews, and upcoming releases every single day, and the support is massively appreciated as I do run the channel myself. Now, with that out of the way, let's dive back into the remaining deals for this week. At 50% off and only £8.37, this is the best price yet and a great pick for fans of stylish indie action games. Skul the Hero Slayer brings a very fresh twist to the roguelike genre by putting you in the control of a single skeleton warrior who can swap heads to gain new powers. Each skull you collect actually transforms your playstyle completely, from ranged spellcasters to melee brawlers, keeping combat very varied and totally unpredictable. The game's retro pixel art style really pops with colour though, and the fast-paced soundtrack really amps up the energy as you cut through enemies and dodge bullet hell attacks. What makes Skul truly shine though is its fluid gameplay loop and constant introduction of new mechanics and synergies. It keeps every single run feeling incredibly different and just so action-packed. Add in the intense boss fights, challenging platforming, and a solid upgrade system, and you've really got a tightly tuned experience from start to finish. This game recently left Xbox Game Pass unfortunately, but it is coming with a DLC sometime this year, and I know many of you can't wait. A twisted reimagining of the Pinocchio tale, Liza P drops you into the hauntingly beautiful city of Krat, where nightmares come alive and puppets run amok. As a silent protagonist called P, you'll be exploring fog-drenched streets and uncovering a dark mystery influenced by your own choices. The combat here is very sharp and deliberate, favoring skillful dodging, parrying, and weapon crafting over brute force. Yes, this one is a Souls-like, so you can prepare for some really intense combat. From corrupted automatons to massive bosses, every encounter demands your precision and adaptability. With multiple endings, deep lore, and striking visual design, it really is a masterclass in modern Souls-like storytelling. It is now discounted to just £30 this week at 40% off, and this recent release offers an unforgettable descent into madness. For all of you superhero fans and action lovers alike, the Batman Arkham collection is a complete package that showcases some of the best designs and games in all of gaming. It includes Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, 3 critically acclaimed titles that chronicle Batman's struggle against Gotham's worst villains. Each game though builds upon the last, evolving from tight atmospheric corridors to sprawling open world environments filled with secrets and side quests. The fluid combat, stealth sequences, and detective mechanics make you feel like the world's greatest detective at every single turn. Of course, there are legendary performances here from Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, which really elevate the story even further, making this trilogy such a fan favourite. At just £7.50 this week, with 85% off, this really is the definitive way to experience Batman in video game form. Set in the grim backdrop of Mordor, the Shadow Bundle features both Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, offering a sprawling narrative and some of the most innovative systems in an open-world RPG. At 90% off this week, it's a fantastic value for fans of Tolkien or just action RPGs in general. At its core though, the big highlight here is the Nemesis system, which generates enemies that remember you, adapt to your tactics, and even return to haunt you. The combat here blends brutal melee with stealth and range mechanics, while fortress sieges and army building mechanics add so much strategic depth in Shadow of War. There's tons of rich lore and voice acting that bring this entire world of Middle-earth to life, filling in the gaps between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings with its own original take. With all the DLC also included within this bundle, it gives you dozens of hours of fantasy action for you to enjoy. Weird West really carved out its own niche in the RPG landscape, combining immersive sim mechanics with dark western themes and supernatural twists. In this game, you'll be following 5 interconnected protagonists across a land plagued by curses, cults, and twisted fates, with each storyline offering unique gameplay elements and also different outcomes. From twin-stick shooting to stealth and tactical manipulation of each environment, the game gives you the freedom to approach every situation your very own way. Of course though, decisions carry very serious weight, often changing future events and also reshaping the world for later characters. This definitive edition also enhances the stability, visuals and mechanics, making this the ideal version for you to experience. At just £5 and 2p, it's the lowest price it's ever been and one of the most imaginative RPGs available on Xbox to this day. From the mind of Kichiro Toyama, the creator of Silent Hill, Slitterhead is a horror action hybrid that actually offers a very grotesque and thrilling experience like none other on the market. Set in a chaotic urban sprawl plagued by shape-shifting parasitic creatures, you will play as a mysterious spirit able to possess multiple human hosts. This mechanic really allows for creative combat and stealth approaches, blending psychological horror with tons of explosive action. The story here is really steeped in paranoia and unease, with visuals that lean heavily into body horror and surrealism. Add in some pretty chilling sound design and some truly unpredictable enemy encounters, and the result is an experience that keeps you on the edge of your seat. At 50% off, this is a major discount for this game that rarely goes on sale, and is absolutely worth checking out for horror fans looking for something new. At just £3.19 and 80% off, F.E.A.R 3 continues the legacy of this series with a very strong focus on cinematic shooting mechanics and supernatural scares. Of course, in this game you take control of either Point Man or his psychically gifted brother Paxton Vettel, whose powers drastically change the way that the game is actually played. Whether you prefer traditional gunplay or telekinetic chaos, the gameplay delivers intense, fast-paced combat with plenty of dynamic moments. The narrative branches depending on which character you choose, offering tons of high replay value. As with previous titles though, the eerie presence of Alma really keeps the tension high, delivering jump scares and psychological horror throughout the entire game. This is such a low-cost way to experience one of the more unique horror FPS titles of the last decade, and it's well worth picking up this week. Choo-Choo Charles is one of the most unusual horror games out on the market, blending absurdity and tension into an open world setting that puts you against a monstrous train spider hybrid. In this one, you'll be controlling a customizable train as you travel across a remote island, upgrading your gear and also preparing for a final showdown with the titular Charles. The combination of that third-person scavenging, light base building and vehicular combat makes for such an unexpectedly engaging gameplay loop. The atmosphere swings between eerie silence and explosive encounters, as Charles really will appear without any warning. With its bizarre concept and low-budget charm, it really is a standout in the indie horror space. This is now at its lowest price ever at just £5.85, and is a memorable ride that offers both laughs and scares. Skautfold Usurper is a punishing action platformer that combines tight Souls-like combat with the exploration of a classic Metroidvania. It's now 70% off and down to just £3.74, and this is a great pickup for all of you players who love a moody, skill-driven adventure. This one is actually set in an alternate history London, dripping with tons of cosmic horror, and it challenges you to master an aggressive combat system focusing on parrying and counterattacks. Visually though, the game is very atmospheric, with detailed pixel art that really captures the grime and grandeur of its Victorian setting. Of course, you'll be uncovering different dark secrets, challenging different twisted bosses, and also piecing together cryptic lore scattered throughout its interconnected world. For fans of games that demand patience and precision, Usurper delivers an old-school challenge with tons of modern mechanical polish. Deliver Us the Moon is a thoughtful sci-fi thriller that mixes quiet exploration with cinematic storytelling. This one is actually set in a near future where Earth has run out of resources, and you will play as the last astronaut sent to reactivate a dormant moon base and restore power to humanity. The game really alternates between first and third-person perspectives, using different puzzles, environmental storytelling, and also a sparse but beautiful soundtrack to draw you into its desolate world. You'll be navigating zero-gravity zones, solving system-based challenges, challenges and uncovering the mysteries left behind by the vanished lunar crew. It is a slow burn once you start it, but it is one that really does reward you with emotional moments and just stunning visuals. At 80% off, this really is a hidden gem, and this is an affordable way to experience a deeply atmospheric narrative adventure. Then we have Remothered, Tormented Fathers. This is a chilling return to classic survival horror that relies on stealth, psychological tension, and a slowly unraveling mystery. In this one, you step into the role of Rosemary Reed, a woman investigating a young girl's disappearance, only to find herself trapped in a mansion filled with danger and dark secrets. There is no combat here. Your survival, though, hinges on hiding, running, and thinking several steps ahead of your pursuers. The game's mood, of course, is very oppressive and constant, really helped along by its eerie sound design and clever camera work alongside its subtle environmental storytelling. Puzzles here are really designed to test your observation skills, and the narrative twists really keep you guessing until the final moments of this experience. It's now down to its lowest price ever at just £2.49, and that's a staggering 90% discount. It really is a must play for anyone craving an old school horror experience that will sit with you long after it ends. Talking about games that go heavily under the radar, do check out this video here on screen now as I cover the finals, and it's currently blowing up on Xbox in 2025.